I'm pretty sure that you are aware of the recent drama surrounding PirateSoftware about his recent raid in Hardcore WoW with some of his guild members from the content creator guild, what's it called? Onlyfangs. And there's basically two camps of opinions on the internet. One is supporting PirateSoftware's position, and the other side just want to cancel PirateSoftware because they do not agree with what he has done. The opinion of the internet is evenly split between the two camps of opinion. So I thought to myself, like, who is the most objective person in the room that can look into this situation and give a very objective opinion and judgment on who's right and who's wrong in this situation? Every single human being have their own biases. You know who doesn't have any biases? AI, artificial intelligence. So that's why I've decided to painstakingly write down every single details that I can find that is relevant for this situation and word them in the most neutral way possible while still providing enough context. So I have written a very lengthy essay and prompt for ChatGPT. I will now walk you through this prompt with two objectives. If you are not familiar with the full situation, this will act as your PirateSoftware Drama 101 to walk you through my research and my summarization of the incident so that you are fully aware of all the context that is important for you to form an opinion in this situation. And secondly, also allow you to go through this prompt with me and make your own assessment whether this is neutral or have I also been influenced by my bias when I'm writing this prompt, and in a way it's influencing the AI in a certain way. So jumping into the prompt, the first one is just a very generic starting the prompt. I need your opinion, ChatGPT, about the drama. Next, these are the very important context that is not part of the incident itself, but it's very important to know this context before hearing the story, hearing the incident, for the bot to make the full evaluation. You will know what I mean when we go through all this underlying context. So the first context is the nature of the mode that this group of streamers, players, they are playing in. It's the hardcore mode of the game World of Warcraft or WoW, where death is permanent and the players will have to restart from scratch after each death. All the characters in these raids are max level, and in hardcore WoW, based on my research, it takes upwards of several months of playtime in order to get a character from a fresh character to max level, which is level 60. In other words, the stakes are very high, right? If their character dies, they are losing like many months of the playtime they've already invested in said characters. While some of the group members in this raid group have raided with each other before, but they are actually not friends, right? They are not familiar with each other. They don't know what are each other's personalities, what are their past experiences, how long have they played the game for, and also what are their skill level at the game. Another context that I think is very important is that Pirate has mentioned openly before this that he claimed to be a very experienced player in WoW, and he has participated in the hardest raid in the game before, and he's also a very experienced mage. While I have not found too much information about the experience level for the rest of the group, I think it's safe to assume that the rest of them are just not very experienced with the game, at least not as experienced as Pirate has claimed that he is with the game. So with all that context out of the way, now we can actually get to the chain of events itself. Actually, before the drama happened, the group had already attempted the raid once and they failed. Right, the good news is everyone got out of the failed attempt alive, nobody dies. But for a lot of them, it was a near-death experience. So when the drama happened, it was already their second attempt, and it all started with the tank decided to take a riskier route by skipping some mobs. Because they have taken the riskier route, they should have positioned themselves to a safer position instead of engaging the group of mobs at the place where they engage. But because they did not reposition, as a result they ended up pulling the boss and also a bunch of other mobs together. So the situation kind of just got very dicey from then on, because instead of engaging one pack of mobs, now they are also engaging the boss and also additional pack of mobs. So recognizing the danger, Yamato, which is the rogue of the group, said run in the group's voice call. So immediately after the run call, Pirate casted a max rank Blizzard, trying to do damage to the mobs and boss, but casting the max rank Blizzard drained most of his mana, and he then used his remaining mana on, I think it's Blink, like one of the movement skills that mages has. As the group was retreating, the tank, Aussie Fail, was getting kind of well on by the mobs and the boss. So Yamato kind of get worried, and he was kind of asking the tank, are you okay? And subsequently he called for the priest, Sarah, to heal the tank. And then the priest, who universally was recognized to be the hero in this situation, the absolute Giga Chat in this situation, stopped his retreat and rejoined the group and healed the tank. Yamato then shouted at Pirate. This is where it got into the drama territory, because it was a very, very aggressive tone, and he used that tone to call out Pirate and ask like, Pirate, why are you running, bro? At this point, like, Pirate is like very, very far away from the group, and he replied like, what are you talking about? Look at my mana. Then in response to Pirate, Yamato then again still remained with the very aggressive tone, say that this is salvageable, come on man. The rest of the group proceed to suggest like, Ice Nova, innovate, right? So they are suggesting like, okay, Pirate, these are the things that you can do to help us. Right, but the communication is very chaotic. Everyone was sort of like talking over each other. So all this while, everyone was fighting for their life and trying to do their absolute best to survive, while Pirate is like miles away from everyone else and like it's like extremely safe. So responding to all the call for help from his group, Pirate then replied like, do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you? So he's basically suggesting that there's nothing that he could do because he has no mana. On retrospect, and a lot of experts are chiming in on that, and we found out that that's factually not true, because he has mana gem and he also have Robe of the Archmage, which both can give him a little bit of mana back. And he should have enough mana left to cast a rank 1 Ice Nova, which will either slow the mobs down or freeze them. So this can be one of the two situations, right? So either he is too panicked in that situation, under a lot of pressure, and he truly think that there is nothing that he can do, and he totally forgot that he has mana gem and robe. And he also forgot that he can cast a rank 1 Ice Nova or rank 1 Blizzard to help his group. And possibility number 2 is that he knows all that, but knowingly he decided not to take any action because he did not want to risk his character rejoining the fight and possibly dying. And at this point of time, Pirate, who was like very far away from the group and he's almost at the exit already, he actually moved his mouse cursor towards the mana gem, signifying that he most probably realized at this point that he could have used the mana gem to recover some mana and go back to help his group, but he stopped at the very last minute. His mouse did not reach the mana gem, and he moved the mouse away to other places and decided to just stand and wait. So subsequently, the priest and the druid died sadly in the middle of the retreat, while the rest of the group made it out alive. And for the most part, the tank made it out of life due to the priest's sacrifice. So rest in peace, Sarah. I think you are the hero in this story, and the whole world recognized that. So after everyone made it out alive, Pirate defended himself by saying that Evocate is on cooldown. So Evocate is another skill besides mana gem and robe that can also recover mana for a mage. And Yamato, basically, he's not buying that excuse, and he asked, how much mana is Ice Nova? It does not use that much mana. So Pirate did not directly respond to that. He just say, you have a boss in you and you called run. Right, he's basically suggesting that the call was made to run, so he ran. So after the event, Yamato brought the matter to the war chief, Tyler 1. Tyler then invited Pirate into the same call. Right, so in that call, Pirate did admit that he could have went back to help the group, but he chose not to because he did not want to risk dying, as he will have to run through a pack of mob, and that's very risky in his opinion, so he did not want to do that. And to kind of justify his decision of not going back, he also mentioned that he's one of the primary enchanter of the guild, and he's holding a lot of materials that could be used for the guild. So after Pirate explained his thought process and justified his action, Yamato wanted to say his piece as well. So what Yamato said was, we all did mistakes. I'm not saying that we are just blaming you. It's about the zero accountability is what makes us so mad. Pirate got defensive again, and which he replied, there's no zero accountability. Everyone can do something better, but when you open up and yell over another person, but before he can finish his sentence, Yamato tried to interrupt, because I don't think like Yamato agreed that he's yelling over another person, which is very ironic because he's literally now trying to interrupt Pirate, calling him out for yelling over another person, and he's trying to counter that by yelling over Pirate in that situation. So I just thought that was quite funny, but I think both of them probably do not find it funny in that situation. He basically just tried to stop Pirate from continuing by just saying, can I speak? Which Pirate just said that, nah, I'm good, like see ya, and then he hung out the call and left. So I have watched a lot of content creators' reaction towards the situation. I've also read a lot of Reddit posts and online forums that is discussing about this matter. In general, I can summarize the people's opinion on this matter into two camps. So in the first camp, they fully support PirateSoftware, and there is nothing wrong with his action, and they'll do exactly what Pirate did given the same situation. Pirate's action should be fully justified, and he actually does not need to apologize to anyone. And there is no responsibility or accountability that Pirate will have to take over the death of the other two teammates. The second camp of the people critiques Pirate for not helping his group and claim that Pirate know that he can do something for the group and decided to lie during the situation and then double down after the event by justifying his decision using reasons like he's the guild enchanter and the call has been made to run and blah blah blah. People in this camp also did not like the fact that he refused to apologize to his raid group. Everyone else in the raid group have apologized to each other, especially to the group members that have lost their life, by acknowledging what they could have done more to save their life and also recognizing their mistakes. So they all trying to make each other feel better in that situation, except Pirate. And the people in this camp are also not happy that he absolutely refused to acknowledge that he could have done something that potentially could save Snappy's and Sarah's life, but he decided not to, because his role as a mage is supposed to control the enemies and make survival easier for his group, so he did not live up to that accountability as a mage. So this is a part where I've also taken a lot of time to word the questions in a way that is as neutral as possible. I avoided asking leading question. I opened it up with a open question, then followed by a follow-up question that forced ChatGPT to make a judgment whether certain actions are correct or not, or they think that things should have been done differently. I repeated the question for Pirate's actions and decisions and Yamato's later, and also during the incident itself and how they handle things after the incidents. Then as a question to kind of conclude all this, I simply asked, are Pirate's actions justified? And also about Yamato's opinion on Pirate is taking zero accountability towards the incident. Is that opinion correct? So here are the evaluation or opinion from ChatGPT using the prompt that I've just shown to you. So to make sure that there's no randomness in the AI's evaluation, I actually ran the same prompt multiple times. The bot's opinion remained very constant throughout the more than 20 prompts that I've run. The wording that it chose and the way that it chooses to represent its opinion varies quite differently, but the gist of it, as in how fundamentally the bot sees the situations, remain very constant throughout the more than 20 prompts that I've run. So with regards to the first question, is about the bot's opinion on Pirate's actions during the raid itself. The bot largely disagree with the action and decision making that Pirates have taken during the incident. First, he should not have casted the max rank Blizzard, which unnecessarily used up almost all of his mana. And secondly, saying that because he has no mana and there's nothing he can do is just factually not true, because technically, although he cannot do heavy damage, but he can still contribute by controlling the enemy packs. And the bot also make a judgment on his attitude at that time. His absolute refusal to attempt to assist indicates a lack of teamwork, especially when the rest of the group are literally fighting for their life and they are all working together except him. So the bot thought that Pirate definitely should have done things differently. In some of the other prompts, ChatGPT also mentioned that he claimed that he is a very experienced mage in the game, so he should have the technical skills to execute helping his teammates without severely endanger himself. And his communication was also criticized by the bot, where he could have say it in a more constructive way, such as that give me a second, I need to recover my mana, or just outright say that sorry, I don't think I should go back in, I'm the guild enchanter, I really need to stay alive in this situation, so I'm getting the hell out of here. So on Yamato's side, I think the bot give him a lot of credit for trying to act as the leader in the situation, but the bot also criticized him for his way of communication and his decision-making process. The call was a mixed signal because initially the call was to run, but then it was changed midway to salvaging the situation. Changing from run to we can salvage this is a very large gap that a lot of people will probably get confused by that because it's the polar opposite. And the choice of the phrases that he used was also very, very aggressive. And if I put myself in Pirate's shoes, I can't help to be defensive in that situation because the other person is being very aggressive towards me. So I think, and this is my opinion, not the bot's opinion, I think Yamato's attitude also contributed to the dismissive and defensive nature of Pirate's responses during the situation and after the situation as well. As for the after incident actions, ChatGPT assessment on Pirate's behavior was that he come across as very self-serving, although his justification is partially valid, as in he is thinking about his position as the guild enchanter and he doesn't want to risk his character, but those are very self-centered, self-serving statements and he can come across as very insensitive in those situations. And I have to agree that he showed zero empathy towards his group members that have died in the incident and refused to participate in the grieving process, where he could have said something along the line where I realized that I have mana gem, I realized that I have rope, I could have went back in and cast Ice Nova, and I did not do that because I really want to live and I don't want to risk myself. But I'm really sorry for not doing that, and I might have caused your character to die, right? So all that are factually true things that he could have said to his fallen teammates, which can make them feel better and get over the situation more positively, but he chose not to do any of that, but take more of a stance of like, my life is very important, so it's perfectly justifiable that I prioritize my own survival over helping my teammate. He also left the call abruptly. In one of the prompts, ChatGPT actually used the phrase unprofessional, which I agree, but I think it just shows the lack of maturity and emotional control to stay in the conversation, try to steer the conversations towards a more constructive direction, which he absolutely refused to do in that situation. So I totally agree that Pirate should have at least acknowledged that his actions have a role in contributing towards Sarah's and Snoopy's death, and there might be something that he could have done differently in that situations to change the outcome. He did briefly mention something along the line during his call with Tyler, but it's very much overshadowed by his self-serving attitude and his absolute refusal to participate in a conversation with Yamato. Yamato is not an angel as well, right? So his criticism towards Pirate, either with Pirate in the call or without Pirate in the call, come across as very emotional and very confrontational rather than constructive. I think it's very reasonable for a lot of people to react the way that Pirate reacted because of Yamato's attitudes going into the conversations. And as a result of that, although ChatGPT and I can both understand Yamato's frustration towards PirateSoftware, but his approach just makes situation a lot worse. This is a situation where I kind of disagree with ChatGPT a little bit. I think sometimes we do have to interrupt the other person if the conversation is going in a totally different direction, or somebody is just saying something that is absolutely not true. I can understand the one to interrupt, but I think the way that Yamato interrupted is definitely very, very aggressive tonally, and maybe he can tone it down a little bit and ask it in a more gentle way. Maybe the outcome would have been different. So this is to address the first camp of people that think that Pirate's actions and decisions is 100% justified and he has nothing to apologize about and he did nothing wrong. So while it's perfectly normal and understandable that he wants to prioritize his own survival given the initial call is to run, his attitude, actions and behavior during and after the incident severely undermine his justification, right? Because Pirate did mention something that was factually not true and he refused to acknowledge that he was wrong at that moment of time. So this is the number one point that undermined his justification, right? And the second part where he doubled down on his position and took a I should not have any accountability position, which I think is a completely unjustified position, because he should at least try to comfort his fellow team member by evaluating the what could have happened. By participating in those conversations, he's showing his empathy and he's showing his willingness to support his team member, which should give his fallen team member some form of comfort instead of just leaving the situation completely and wash his hands and pretend that he has nothing to do with this. And I do agree with ChatGPT here, but I think this is overreaching a little bit, but we can never know what is the truth, is that the justification of being a guild enchanter and holding a lot of materials does come across as a after the fact rationalization. Like maybe after the incident, he's trying to think of, okay, how can I further justify and put myself in the do no wrong position, instead of it is genuinely a consideration that come across it in his mind. So on Yamato calling out Pirate for showing zero accountability, ChatGPT is in full agreement in that regards. Despite claiming to be a very experienced mage that have played the game a lot, he absolutely refused to take accountability by acknowledging that he failed to play his role as a mage in that situation by using justification like the call has been made to run. Even saying things like, I really don't want to die, but I fully acknowledge that I failed to play my role as a mage during that retreat situation. So in summary, there is no one person is right, another person is wrong situation here, because Pirate and Yamato are wrong in their own way. Pirate overly prioritized his own survival and failed to recognize that he could have helped his team, and if he is a very experienced mage in WoW, he should have the ability to help his team while keeping himself safe. And his refusal to even attempt to do that, despite his team member was still trying to salvage the situation and call out for his help, is definitely a -1 point for Pirate here. And during the situation, what is commendable about Yamato is that at least he stepped out, but he couldn't control his emotion and aggressiveness, and he was being unnecessarily and overly aggressive towards Pirate and gave conflicting signals to the whole group. So this has been ChatGPT and my take on the drama. So comment down below if you agree with my methodology and my prompt for ChatGPT, and also whether do you agree with what ChatGPT say here, or if you have a different opinion. So if you like content like this, do give the video a like and subscribe to let me know so that I can create more contents like this for the future. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.